It's the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion. This is for Thursday, the 9th of October. I'm Michael Groff. We are in the midst of a transition from the fairly hot and dry weather to a very active pattern here over the southwest, one that will lead to multiple opportunities for precipitation over the next several days. Still a significant threat for widespread precipitation that could lead to flood or flash flooding, and a few strong thunderstorms are possible along the way as well. Now, there are still a lot of question marks as to where, when, and how much precipitation there will be, and an additional wild card in our forecast that we'll talk about in just a little bit that could bring even more rain later this weekend and early next week. So with all those questions, we'll do our best to find some answers as we dive on in and discuss. First, the almanac from yesterday, 102 degrees the afternoon high. And as far as those 100-degree days are concerned, as the late, great Hall of Fame broadcaster Al McCoy would say, I think we can put those in the old deep freeze. They're in the icebox. 73 was the morning low, 92 and 69 are the averages for this time of year. And as we take a look outside right now, here at 11 a.m., we've got clouds out there right now. 90 degrees at Sky Harbor, a few light showers ongoing across the valley as well. Dew points up to 57, so the moisture is increasing. Relative humidity 34%. The winds are light and the barometer is steady. Let's look at temperatures across the area right now. We're mostly in the 80s and some low 90s popping up on the board, but I think these temperatures aren't going to get a whole lot warmer due to the fact that we have clouds and some isolated showers rolling in. Checking it out statewide. We've got 67 in Flagstaff, 72 in Winslow. It's 74 in Payson. And we generally have 80s to near 90 across our deserts right now. Taking a look at the radar here. Yeah, we've got a few showers. These are mainly light showers across south central Arizona, including Phoenix. These will last over the next couple of hours. There might even be a rumble of thunder someplace. We don't expect this rain to amount to a whole lot, but still, some raindrops coming down out there, and we'll see those scattered about through the rest of the afternoon, but pretty much a low chance that we see anything significant for now. Satellite picture out here across the southwest. We put this in motion. You can see what's been happening, and there is Priscilla down there moving up the west coast of Baja. It is weakening as it does, but we're not really concerned about that part as much as we are just the moisture from that system, which is being drawn up into the area. You can see all those clouds streaming into southern and southeast Arizona. And as we have this trough off to the north and west of us that you can clearly see out there as well, all of that is going to help to wring out that moisture over the next few days and give us a threat for some widespread precipitation across much of Arizona and a good portion of the southwest United States as well. Here's that watch warning map. Yeah, it's chilly in the northeast, finally starting to feel like fall. We got those frost and freeze advisories from Pennsylvania and West Virginia up into parts of New England. And out here in the southwest, of course, it's all about that moisture from Priscilla. That tropical moisture is streaming on in here. So we have flood watches in effect now in Arizona. A little bit confusing because we have multiple times on these flood watches. So, for example, in parts of northern Arizona, Coconino, portions of Yavapai and Gila, Navajo and Apache counties, we have a flood watch that goes into effect at noon today, probably by the time you watch this, and all the way out to midnight Sunday morning. Here in Maricopa County, including Phoenix, as well as parts of Gila County over toward Globe, that flood watch goes into effect at noon tomorrow and continues through 12 a.m. on Sunday. And then, of course, out in northwest Arizona, Mojave County, you've got the flood watch in effect from 11 a.m. today through 11 p.m. Saturday night. So, and then southwest Arizona, of course, from noon today through midnight tomorrow. So, that is how this is shaping up right now. All right, so let's check out that convective outlook for today. We don't have any organized areas of severe weather on the board. However, thunder expected across parts of Arizona. It's a low-end threat for today, but we could see some isolated storms. I think the best chance that we'll see stronger storms or some more thunder would be out towards southwest Arizona and southeast California, where there's a little bit more instability out there, and we'll see that threat again maybe tonight, tomorrow there, and then that'll shift east tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow night into our part of the state. The tropics in the Atlantic Basin, interestingly enough, there's a little X out there moving into the North Atlantic with a low chance to develop. You bet it's a low chance because the waters up there are too cool. I don't even know why that's on the board. But then we have Jerry, still a tropical storm, but this is going to turn northward. This will clip the Leeward Islands there. But other than that, this is just going to go north and then make that hard right turn to the east. So this should not be a threat to the east coast of the United States, not a threat to Bermuda. That's good news. In the East Pacific, Octave is now off the board. We've got a brand new tropical depression. That's 17E, and we'll just refer to that as the wild card in our forecast going forward. And then we have Tropical Storm Priscilla. That's a weakening system now. Priscilla is going to fizzle out over the next 24 hours. This will just be a remnant low, and then after that, it'll fizzle completely. But that moisture is going to move up into the southwest, and that's going to help to really bring on the rain over the next 48 hours or so here in Phoenix and across much of Arizona. The wild card I mentioned, this is Tropical Depression 17E. This is expected to develop into at least a tropical storm as it moves up the west coast of Mexico and kind of follows a relatively similar path, although maybe a little further east. Now, there is some guidance that brings this system a little further west, but the moisture from this is what we're really concerned about. How far to the north does it get? We expect at least some impact across the southeastern quarter of Arizona with this late this weekend, early next week. But how far to the north and west does that moisture get? Well, that's going to play a huge role in our forecast, at least here in Phoenix and across the south central deserts. All right, the precipitation outlook. This is valid through Thursday morning of next week. Rain amounts in Phoenix, how about 1.5 inches to 2.25 inches? And we could see widespread 3 to 4 inches plus from southeast Arizona, the White Mountains, the Rim, and even up into parts of northwest Arizona. So a wide swath of significant precipitation. Now, I will say, within this, your amount will vary. I will guarantee you some spots in the valley just aren't going to see as much as what's shown here. Some spots will see more. That's how it always goes, but these maps are just incredibly difficult to draw in this kind of situation. And if we're being completely candid here, there is still some uncertainty as to exactly how much rain there will be across the valley and across Arizona, as there always is with these kinds of tropical systems. There's many variables. We're going to talk about those variables right now as we get to the models, have a look at things, see what the future may hold. Here we go. This is the GFS. It's the 12Z run. This is valid at 5 o'clock this afternoon. What you're looking at here is the upper look, where the pressure is 500 millibars. That's about 18,000 feet up off the ground. All right, big trough off of the Pacific Northwest coast, and that is going to help in providing some additional stronger winds aloft, some dynamic support, along with Priscilla, which is down off the Baja coast there. And so what it all means for us down at the surface for the rest of the day today. All right, mostly cloudy, widely scattered showers, and some isolated thunder. Now, I know if you're out there right now, you're like, oh, it's raining. I mean, albeit very lightly, but we could see additional showers and isolated storms, but not everybody's going to get wet. Your chance of getting wet the rest of the day, about 20 to 30%. High temperatures this afternoon, I'd say about the best we can hope for is the low, possibly middle 90s if the sun manages to come out here in the afternoon, but certainly not going to be any triple digits at least. That's good news. Let's take a look at our high-resolution guidance, see how things play out. This is our HRRR, the high-resolution rapid refresh, the simulated radar product at 5 o'clock this afternoon. And at that time, it does show some widely scattered light showers kind of coming across the south central desert, some more showers, better concentration of storms over Southern California, western Arizona, the northwest part of the state, and of course up in the northern portions of Arizona. The radar won't look exactly like this, but you get an idea that showers and storms will be most prevalent further to the north and west of us for now, and then this will kind of transition east as we go into the day tomorrow. Speaking of, let's keep this going. This is the HRRR at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning, and at that time it shows more showers and some embedded thunder coming in closer to the south central deserts. Really the threat from Yuma over toward the greater Ajo-Az Metroplex, up toward Gila Bend, Phoenix, and points to the north from there up into Yavapai and Coconino counties, Prescott, Flagstaff, up toward Winslow and Williams and all of that. So that's where probably the greatest concentration of storms will be tomorrow morning. And yeah, just in time for rush hour, of course. We'll start to see those chances of rain on the increase. Now, still not going to be a washout tomorrow. I think we've seen some interesting conceptions about how this will play out in the media. Some people saying this is just going to be a non-stop rain event. You know, it will not rain non-stop for the next 3 or 4 days. We will just have these rounds of precipitation that will come through. They will be scattered to numerous in nature, but not everybody will get wet with each successive round of precip. And the amounts in general with each band of precipitation will not be particularly heavy, although some localized heavy downpours are absolutely possible in a situation like this. And the heaviest rain is still expected to be, of course, over the higher terrain, as you would expect in this kind of a setup. Now, lows tonight will generally be in the 70s to near 80 degrees, and then tomorrow high temperatures again, upper 80s to low 90s. But again, temperature forecasts are a little tricky in this kind of a weather pattern, because if we get a lot of rain tomorrow morning and we stick with the clouds most of the day, we'll struggle to get to the upper 80s or low 90s. We could stay in the low or mid 80s all day. We'll just have to see. As for the rest of the day tomorrow, synoptically speaking, the best chance of storms, of course, northern Arizona. Again, here in Phoenix, about a 40% chance or so that we'll see storms through the day, but increasing in the afternoon and evening hours, as that'll be start of the main event for, at least for us here in the valley, for precipitation. Now, of course, for northern Arizona, they'll already be ensconced in the main event for precip. Either way, though, as we go to Friday night and Saturday, that's where the bulk of this rain is likely to come into south central Arizona. Look at these precipitable water values. This is early Saturday morning coming off the GFS. You got values up here at 1.7 to 1.9 inches. If this were July, those would be above average even then in the heart of the monsoon season, July or August. This is October. I mean, these kinds of precipitable water values are almost unprecedented for this time of year. So the moisture is there. The only thing we have to worry about is the dynamic support. We're going to have some forcing from stronger winds aloft, but is it going to be enough to really wring out this moisture? Because by itself, moisture really isn't enough. Typically in a setup like this, if we don't have much dynamic support, we get some off and on light showers, but it usually doesn't amount to a whole lot. But we do have that trough to the north and west of us that will provide some additional winds aloft for at least a little better forcing. And especially for the day on Saturday. Saturday actually looks like it could be a very interesting day, and perhaps maybe the most interesting to talk about in this forecast, because as we go through the day, we'll still have the stronger winds aloft, but somewhat drier air is going to work its way in kind of in the mid and upper levels. And so the lapse rates, which are kind of shallow right now, will start to steepen pretty rapidly in the day on Saturday. We'll get that stronger evaporative cooling. If we have forced ascent, we get that moist air. Once it starts to hit the dry air, it cools very rapidly. It accelerates as it rises. When you get that forced ascent, the air being forced up, of course, it rises much faster as that moist air hits the drier air. And so that's where we could get additional instability for some stronger storms. Now, I still say the threat for any widespread severe weather is extremely low, but a few strong thunderstorms can't be ruled out Saturday afternoon here across the south central deserts, maybe parts of southeast Arizona as well, given the stronger winds aloft and a little bit of dry air working in here. So we'll continue with about a 80 to 90% chance of rain Friday night and Saturday in Phoenix. Temperatures will be down probably in the 80s. Now, as we go to Sunday, conditions will start to calm down a little bit over parts of northwest Arizona. We'll still see scattered showers and thunderstorms elsewhere. But again, Sunday could be interesting too. If we get some sun coming out just like Saturday afternoon, if a little sun peeks out, that will destabilize the atmosphere. And then we have to start talking about our wild card in this mix too, and that is that potential tropical cyclone we have to the south, our Tropical Depression 17E. Where that goes, we'll start to we'll see some more moisture advected into Arizona, maybe as early as Sunday from that feature. And at this point, most of that moisture is expected to be over the southeastern part of the state. So for our friends down in Tucson and Marana and Nogales and Douglas, Bisbee, Sierra Vista, Safford, those folks, Wilcox, you're likely to see maybe a better chance of some storms down there. I think, kind of the time frame for you guys, your prime time for rain will be Saturday, Sunday, and maybe into early next week as well. Here in Phoenix, more scattered showers and storms Sunday with high temperatures again in the 80s. Let's go to Monday. Still a chance of showers and storms, but where that moisture boundary is, boy, that's going to just determine if we have any real significant chance of rain here in Phoenix. Yes, across eastern and southeast Arizona, we'll still have numerous showers and thunderstorms down there. Up here in Phoenix, it's still a close call. We'll watch future trends on modeling, but there are certainly a number of models within our GFS and Euro Ensemble products that indicate Monday could be pretty wet here in Phoenix. And still, maybe even up north, parts of northern Arizona as well. Really depends on how far to the north and west that moisture goes. And unfortunately, we cannot say with any certainty, at least not at this point. High temperatures, upper 70s to mid 80s. I mean, my goodness, it's going to cool off. Same thing Tuesday. Still some showers and storms over eastern Arizona. I think we'll start to dry out Tuesday, but again, it really depends on that moisture from that next tropical system, because Tuesday could still be somewhat wet, somewhat unsettled over Arizona. Now, by Wednesday, I do think we're going to start to dry out. However, there's a caveat to that. Notice to our west, an unusually deep upper trough is setting up along the California coast. And we could see additional winds aloft start to pick up here. Now, at that point, somewhat drier air has worked its way in here. But if there's any antecedent moisture, any residual moisture, we'll still have at least a small chance of showers and storms, I would say, over the higher terrain. And how that next trough kind of comes into the region will also determine whether or not we have additional chances for rain. So that's something to watch as well. Now, this is not a cut and dry, typical kind of post-monsoonal October forecast. Not at all. This is pretty complex. Let's go to a week from today. This is Thursday, the 16th. Look at that trough. I mean, that upper low, that's pretty strong for this time of year to our west. And so we'll watch that. Of course, the GFS does what the GFS likes to do. That paints in another one of these rogue tropical cyclones that's down there near the Yucatan Peninsula. And where that goes, nobody knows, and if that's even there at all. From one run to the next, that will or won't be there, and we'll probably see all the usuals on social media posting all the scary model runs out at 290 hours, crazy stuff. Major hurricane due to hit the Gulf Coast. They're going to do that, but there's just no way to anticipate any sort of tropical system down there this far out. Although I will say the GFS, at least in the East Pacific, has done a pretty good job so far this hurricane season. So obviously it's something we'll keep in mind. It is still hurricane season after all in the Atlantic and the Caribbean and the Gulf. So obviously we have to watch that. For us, temperatures would be warming up a little bit and we would be drying out. Maybe, depends on how far east that next trough out there gets. Let's go out 10 days. This is Saturday the 18th. And again, we are looking pretty quiet around here with troughing to the north of us, a drier westerly flow. Temperatures would be pretty close to seasonal averages, if that's right. And by that time in October, that means highs generally in the mid and upper 80s. So that's not bad. And those overnight lows in the 50s and 60s. All right, looking at rainfall for Phoenix, this goes out through the 23rd of the month off the GFS Ensemble. This has actually come down a little bit. The Ensemble now just over an inch, about 1 and 2/10 inches or so. European Ensemble's up at about 1.5 inches. The European AI is still holding on to closer to 2 inches of rain. And you've got some individual members here that are just way up in the stratosphere. I mean, 4, 5, 6 inches of rain. I mean, come on. But could that happen someplace? Yes, in this kind of a setup, that could happen. But realistically, I don't think that's a widespread value that we can count on, at least not here in the valley. Although part of me kind of hopes for that. But then there's also that part that says, well, the entire city would be shut down for days if we got 6 inches of rain because, well, we've seen that before, right? All right, looking at temperatures off the national blend of models, clearly we're going to cool it off. Now today, 90s, we could still make it to the low 90s tomorrow, depending on how the morning hours play out with that convection. But then we're going to see highs staying in the 80s pretty much through the weekend next week. At some point, we'll probably return to 90-degree days. We're not done with those. I am not going to declare those over with. No, sir, not yet. But we are getting pretty close to that time, right? We only have a few more weeks where, generally speaking, high temperatures get into the 90s. All right, looking at the CPC outlook, the 8 to 14-day period. All right, this is for October 16th through the 22nd, and if this works out, temperatures across Arizona generally near average. Maybe eastern Arizona a little above, western Arizona tilted slightly toward below average temperatures, but overall near average. Precipitation near average for the southwestern part of the state, but generally still probabilities favor, at least slightly favor, above average precipitation. We would love that. All right. That's going to do it for the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion for today. My next video is due back here tomorrow morning. Should you happen to enjoy these videos, be sure to subscribe, like, share, click that notification bell. Leave those comments, questions, and suggestions. If you're really enjoying what we do here, then consider clicking that thanks icon below the video here on YouTube and make a contribution to us that way, or via PayPal. groffshow@gmail.com is that PayPal address. groffshow@gmail.com for PayPal, or our Venmo, which is also linked up and occasionally scrolls by down there on our banner below. All right, the executive producer of the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion is my OAO, the sweetest of all time, the Asian sensation and proprietor of sweetchildaz.com.org and the Facebook page of the same name, Sweet Child Arizona. Talking about my Michelle. Check her out. Blogs, videos, everything Michelle related, Kylie related, Adriana related. It's all linked up down in the description below, so check all of that out. Michelle's been writing blogs like crazy, so yeah, give those a look too. I know some of you have, and it is greatly appreciated. Our streaming station available 24/7, 365. It's called KMGX. We play a ton of music and have a lot of fun with that. Again, linked up in the description. Check that out. And check out Dan over at the Courtroom Files YouTube channel, The Courtroom Files on YouTube, or courtroomfiles.com for your Courtroom Files merch. I shout out to him because he's a personal friend, because his channel is awesome. I would never recommend to you a channel or anything that I did not like or consume myself. And to show you how much I like that channel, yes, I appear on that channel, not only as a guest host, but as a different kind of guest host on a show called Sidebar. And that's tonight, 8 p.m. East, 5 Pacific, over on the Courtroom Files YouTube channel. But it's not about me, okay? I'm just a player on the stage. In fact, I'd say a bit player. More, it's about Dan, Ashley, Bailey, Lindsay, a cast of others as well. You never know when Dan's cat Ellie or my cat Freya will show up on camera. It does happen a lot. So you never know what will happen on Sidebar. It's great. It's an exciting conversation. It's a panel show. We do an hour at least, sometimes 2, and there's been some talk that one day we'll do a 12-hour edition of Sidebar. So that'll be exciting. All right. Before we get out of here, let me just say this very quickly. The other day, on Tuesday, we celebrated 3,000 subscribers on this channel, a milestone that I could not believe happened as quickly as it did, considering we had just hit 2,000 subscribers not more than a month earlier. Well, this morning, we surpassed 4,000 subscribers. So within 48 hours, we had an additional 1,000 subscribers here. And again, I can't thank you guys enough. And as of the time I'm recording this, we're at 4,080 subscribers. You guys have been leaving so many nice comments, and I am so appreciative. I'm always so grateful for you and your time and taking this opportunity to watch little old me just geek out and talk weather. And I'm glad that you guys are weather geeks and nerds as well. All right, with all that being said, I want you guys to be safe. And yeah, it's still a little warm out there this morning, this afternoon. Stay cool, stay hydrated. Enjoy the rain where you can find it. And a little something different. People talk about the music that we play at the end of the show. And, you know, that's a lot of music I compose. Here's me playing something else. And just doing this. So I recorded this a little earlier, so you can see me playing the piano and while we roll that forecast. So you guys be safe and enjoy the rest of your Thursday.